Okay. All righty. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I am here with another episode of Real Business, Real Talk with Ann Austin. And today I have on here Ebony Whitson from Whitson Wonder Productions. And she has something real to talk about today in her business. And so we're going to get right into it because I am so excited to have her on here. I actually met her about a year ago when she had a feature in my BMWC magazine. So if you haven't got a chance to do that, check with me and I'll make sure you get a copy of that article. But right now we're going to get into the real business, real talk. Ebony, what is on your mind today? What is so real that we got to talk about today in the real business, real talk?
You know, I want to talk about the follow train.
Okay.
And I call it that because, I'm in the event design business. It is a heavily saturated business, as you know. You can find anybody that's willing to say that they are a designer. And it's making it hard in our industry to really differentiate ourselves from those who simply just decorate between those that really do design. So
I didn't know there was a difference, like,
yeah.
Decorate and design, but aren't there all like interior decorators or some sort of designer, or, tell me what the real difference is.
Well, interior decorating is different as well. That's, home, office, certain spaces. So there's a lot of different complex things to that too. And we've done that before as well, but that takes a lot of focus. And so when I'm doing that, I can't do anything else. But when it comes to event design, you have event decorators. They know how to put the colors together, set everything nice, make it look nice, right materials. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you have designers who take the time to incorporate different aspects into your event and to make it unique. We are masters at floral. We're masters at backdrops. We have different pieces that just set us apart. It's a little bit more than just quality linens, or nice decor. It goes way beyond that. And it's been so hard to get people to understand the difference, and also be willing to see the value in that. So when you tell them your prices, they go, oh my gosh, that's so much. No, it's not.
Well, that's right. Because, I think we're all here to make money, right? So,
Yeah.
Okay, so let's listen. Problem number one. Okay, so problem number one is really the difference of what you're talking about.
Right.
So let's just get into it. What do you want people to know with problem number one?
So the difference is, yes, I do use linens. I do the settings. I do, with the decor. But on my end, like let's say the event I have tomorrow, I'm doing custom balloons, custom backdrops, custom centerpieces. There is nothing that I'm not touching that I'm not putting my hand on. We're doing party favors. We've got menu cards. It goes way beyond just, chair covers, table covers, and a plate. This is some, I'm going to be prepping all night long to make sure that once we get there, we can hit the ground running and get everything set up. So,
right. And you're saying the other one does not go that far.
No, they don't go that far. They don't go that far. They will make it look nice. They definitely will make it look nice.
Okay.
But they won't go that far. And if you do, sometimes if you say, okay, and this is what I want, it'll be an addition because that's not their specialty. So they'll say, well, I'll call in another vendor or I'll do this, but we have all of that under one house.
Nice.
Because that's what we do.
All right. Problem number two, pricing. Why are they having such a hard time with the price? And if they know, right? And so if you know that you're paying extra for all this custom work, all this stuff that you're putting in, why do they still have a problem with pricing?
Because Keisha and them gonna do it cheaper.
Keisha Boo Boo.
Keisha Boo Boo gonna do it. They gonna do it. And they don't even care if it don't look the same. They just care that the price is not the same.
Wow.
So you got to compete with that.
That's sad, though. That's sad. You pay extra for Chick-fil-A because you want to save 80 cents and not get, Popeyes, you know? I
Right.
don't know. I mean, people see value differently. It's just really
They really
amazing to me.
do.
You know what? I've seen a lot, and even in my own business, I see where
Mhm.
people have an issue with pricing. They know they're getting a lot, but then
Mhm.
it seems like, I don't know if you agree with me, but it just seems like the last few years, everybody wants things almost for free. Like it's
Oh, it's
getting
not just the
cheaper and
last few years.
cheaper. They don't want to pay the money for the value. And
Mhm.
we're almost back to, I remember 20 years ago where there was a trend on bartering. Like everybody was bartering everything and no money was changing hands at all.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
feel like it's getting like that. Don't you agree?
To a certain extent. So you get, and I thought, okay, when I first started, there's different levels, different levels to the pricing of events. Okay. So you have your $5,000 events, you have your 10,000, 50,000, then you have those who just probably really don't have a budget at some point. And you get problems on every level,
Mhm.
every level. Um, the bartering happens on every level. I don't care how much money to spend. Can't you just do this a little cheaper? It's like you are spending
No,
50,000.
no, you got to
No,
pay. You have to
no,
pay. I'm sorry, people. Sorry, people. You
right.
have to pay.
You have
Okay.
to pay. So,
That's right. You got to pay some cash. You got to pay some ducats.
exactly,
Think about it.
exactly.
I mean, you can't get everything for free. I mean, we might hook you up a little bit.
Right. And DIY does not mean cheaper.
Right.
If I have to go and create it because it doesn't exist, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily always going to be cheaper. Sometimes it can be,
Mhm.
but not all the time. Not all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
do they in your profession, do they feel like that not only are they going to get, Keisha Boo Boo to do it, but do you think and I think what I was trying to say is maybe that wow factor, they think they're going to get the same wow factor I mean, is it more the wow factor or is it just really, I just don't want to pay the extra money. I don't care how it actually turns out in terms of looks or aesthetics. Is it, you know, is it they think they're going to get the same wow factor when you
mhm.
have like events like that and you're like designing it and all that kind of stuff? I mean, what is it really?
Sometimes it's a little bit of both. So you
Okay.
get people that say, "Well, I really don't care how it looks. This is just all I want to spend." And then at that point, I'm like, "Well, that's fine because I'm not going to put just anything out there." So then, it's best that we probably part ways or you find another, designer. And then you get people who, they care how it looks. They think they're going to get the same thing at the same price. And when it doesn't, then they call you for the next one, you know,
Mm,
and it's like,
wow.
okay. And I'm like, my price hasn't changed. I'm
So
so
your
happy to
price
do
has,
it.
that's right. Real talk, people, real talk. I mean, this is usually how we be thinking, right? I'm like,
Mhm.
the price is not going to change. And so what would you consider to be problem number 4? We're going to hit up to 5 problems. So what would you consider problem number 4 in this profession to be?
I want people to really see, and I think now, even with COVID, people see that celebrations are now an investment and, into a monumental time in your life. We don't have forever. We really don't. And we don't know what's going to happen. And so while you're holding out or you're thinking you have more time to do this, I think we've all realized that we don't.
Right.
So celebrate the birthday, celebrate the anniversary. We see a lot more corporations showing more appreciation for
Mm.
their employees. When you've gone without the ones you really need, now you know how to say thank you in a major way. So, we're getting a lot more of that, a lot more people just, appreciating their children. I want something special, that they got good grades, or they're going off to school. We're seeing a lot more of that. And I wish it was like that before because now we're like overwhelmed, in this industry. But I think it's just important, it's good to see that people see that as importance. My daughter, before even with doing this, we even with them having birthdays and I do events, or I design, and she's like, we do what's called we'll make a memory. So instead of a birthday party, right, we're gonna take a family trip. Where do you want to
Mm.
go? Chicago to Dalles, Minnesota, pick a place, any place, and it started getting more and more expensive as they got older. So I said, we're really not saving any money, but they flipped the switch on me. They said, how come you don't do for us like you do for everybody else? And I'm like, y'all want to party? Yeah, we want to party too.
I think
So,
people have reevaluated the value of party after being cramped up
mhm,
in the house for a year and a half of COVID. I mean,
yes.
if you think about it, everybody wants to get out now. They don't want to sit behind a computer screen. It used to
Mhm.
be, oh my God, I wish I could be behind a computer screen doing
Mhm.
ABC, XYZ. Now it's like, I have to get out. I have to go somewhere. And I think when you said the word that you're starting to get overwhelmed, is because people, I think, finally realize the value of being
Mhm.
out and being at a party or being someplace else other than their home 24 hours a
Yes.
day, now that they have to
Yes.
telework. And even I noticed that in traffic, there's a whole lot more traffic of people
Oh,
just wanting
yes.
to go to
Mhm.
the office now after teleworking. And you would think it would be, oh, this is so great, I could telework forever.
Mm-mm.
Before it was the other way around. Now people want to get out and
Exactly.
really explore. And I think this is the time now that you can really shine if you're in this industry. If you're in this
Mhm.
one, I'm thinking about a party. Even you reached out to me, hey, listen, and I got you over
Don't do it
here.
alone. Don't do it alone. I
Don't
will
do it
be there.
alone. That's right. That's right. That's real talk, because
Mhm.
people don't understand that a lot of businesses really lost their business.
Yeah.
They had to close their doors. There was no money
Mhm.
coming in. And if
Mhm.
you just happen to be in one of those lucky few industries that
Yeah.
can withstand anything,
Mhm.
you're good.
Yeah, we
After
definitely
that,
had to pivot during COVID. We started doing more gifts and, we would do like lawn parties. So we would decorate the lawn, and they didn't have to touch us. We didn't have to touch them and we, be gone, or we did custom gift boxes, something that we could still help people celebrate.
mhm,
But that only lasted for so long.
mhm,
People still wanted to be connected in some way. So we
mhm.
had to really look at our guidelines, and say, okay,
Right.
can we do this? Can we go back out and be within the general public? So I had to make the decision to get vaccinated. I kicked and screamed, but I'm like, I, I want to help people in the best way possible in what I do. And so I have to be safe and make sure they're safe as well. So,
Yeah, that is a huge topic, which we're not going to go into today, but I just think that a lot of people really have to reevaluate their life right now.
mhm,
How serious is it,
yeah.
to either get vaccinated or not? And
Mhm,
matter of fact, there was a conversation I had yesterday with a coworker who really opposed it for obvious reasons.
mhm,
However, the bottom line is either you're taking your chance on one end or you're taking your chance on another end. And I'm
yeah.
going to go with the majority. So,
Yeah,
and
and
I was
there
like
were
you,
people
I
that
didn't,
were
huh?
there were people that were dying after being at gatherings with their loved ones because
That-
they were not,
Vaccinated,
vaccinated. So you
right?
have people gathering, especially for funerals,
Mm,
no mask, no nothing, still want to get together with the family, and then the aunt or the uncle passing away, or the cousin, it's like, come on, if you're gonna gather, be safe.
be safe. That's the bottom line. I think that's problem number 5 right there, Ebony.
It
I'm
really
serious.
is.
That is, you want to be with your family, but
Mm-hmm.
then you also want to make certain political decisions. I think that this
Mm-hmm.
whole thing with the vaccination should never have been political.
No.
However, it's one of those things that it's a life changing decision.
Yes.
My doctor told me, because I said, listen, I don't mind getting a vaccination. I just want to make sure that they have got it right before I go and do it. Right.
Right.
And he said, well, you can either wait until they fix every single problem, or you could take your chance and maybe not get on a
Mm-hmm.
ventilator.
Right.
You know, and I
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get vaccinated. And then my husband got vaccinated, and we all got vaccinated. And thank
Mm-hmm.
goodness none of us, even before that time, got coronavirus. Thank
Right.
goodness. But there were
Mm-hmm.
people who I knew around me that did.
Yeah.
Some of them had horrible experiences. Some of them had easy, just because they wanted to hang around family.
Mhm.
And I'm like you. If you're going to be going out here now, if you're going to be doing events and things like that, you have to be safe. And even
Yeah.
now, the hotels, some hotels are not even doing anything at all. They're not even allowing events or any of that right now.
Yeah. It's very restricted. And then what the new trend now is like micro events, micro weddings. You know, we've seen a lot of the outdoor venues are overbooked because it's better. They want to be outdoors. They want that environment. So, you know, here in Wisconsin, we only have a few months where we can do anything outdoors. So you think about it, from May to September, we are running.
Wow.
You get a few October, but from May to September, we are just hitting the ground because people are like, okay, well, let's do everything outside, everything we can, and let's be as safe as possible, you know?
Right.
So,
Well, all I can say for real talk, this is real talk, folks. I mean, you're going to be in the event industry, period, whether you're decorating or designing or hosting or whatever. Again, you have to really know what you're getting into. And like Ebony said, she's saying there's a difference between designing and decorating.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
if you're not giving 100% of that value, then you're going to have a hard time trying to convince people. And right now, it is a buyer's market on every single level, from
Everything.
houses to events. Everybody's nitpicking, everybody's price gouging, everybody's doing whatever. But you know what? I'm going to make a prediction, Ebony. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to make a prediction that I would say by July of 2022, the bubble is going to burst and people are going to be like, forget it. Let's go back to the norm. Let's go back to what we had before, because this is ridiculous. And people are really going to get frustrated with all the stuff going on in the grocery stores and everywhere else, and the housing market and apartments. Apartments are really gone crazy with their pricing, right? So I really do think that by July, I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna come back and see if my if my prediction will come true. Okay, that I think the bubble will burst. I think the bubble will burst by then, because it'll be 2 years and people will be totally fed up.
Yeah, I think they're getting to that point now. You know, our kids are back in school, but they're sending them home with Chromebooks, and you know, they're preparing them, and I'm like, what are you preparing them for? Just tell us, because you know, but we know now. We so ready. I'm like, just go ahead, just hit us with it, because they gonna be just fine. But we see the signs, you know, we see the signs. The school is shutting down every other week, notices every other week, and I'm like, it's coming. It's definitely coming. You know, we check in the deep freezer and everything. I said, we're going to just be ready for whatever hits the fan. Because it's just, I don't think they were prepared. You know, we've got all of these concerts and festivals going on, and people are around each other, and they don't want to be safe, and it's gonna come to a head. It's gonna come to a head.
Something's got to give.
I've seen other businesses like mine who have just said, you know what, we're done, we're closed. And they are, like, when I say bomb events, you know, event designers, I'm like, wait a minute, no, you know, and I watch everybody know they in New York and they like, we closed. This is it. We're not doing nothing else till after COVID. I'm like, y'all just gonna shut down like that? And I'm watching, you know, and I'm like, if they keep a watch, you know.
It's affecting every business. It's affecting mine too. You know, I think about it all the time, how I should just, you know, close doors and do something totally different, you know, go into a totally different, like, direction whatsoever, because everything has changed. And I'm not surprised that more businesses are going to be doing that. It is technology has now become the gateway for any and everything. And if kids are getting Chromebooks now, I think part one is awesome, but part two, they don't have that kid interaction like they used to have and stuff like that. But then if you really stand back and look at the whole thing, right? When do we really have kids have a lot of interaction anyway? I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, I remember when I was going to school, we didn't have Chromebooks and tablets and cell phones. We actually had outdoor activities 24 hours a day with our kid neighbors, and we were at everybody else's neighborhood having fun with everybody else's kids in the neighborhood. And now you have so much technology that social media is now the only way that people can connect with each other. And now that we're saying, go ahead, have a computer, do what you got to do. Now it's a problem, but it wasn't a problem before COVID because
No,
everybody was oblivious to it. And now you feel like you're being
exactly.
forced. Some people say, oh, we're being forced to stuff. No, you wasn't.
Mhm.
It was already there. You were
It was
already
already
using
there.
it.
It was gonna
Yeah.
come,
It
and the
was,
kids are familiar, like when they play the video games, they
Mhm.
call into each other, they're playing with somebody halfway on another state, or if they're FaceTiming or, they were already into it. They were ready. We didn't want it,
That's
but
right.
but they were ready for it. It's like, and the new babies now, they seem like they come out with a tablet in their hand. Like, was you born with an iPad?
Yeah.
It's a whole different generation.
That's
So they in the cradle just turning it on and hitting. I'm like, no, this is too much. This is too much.
that's right. All
So, but
right. Well, I would say that is definitely going to be the trend. I think
mhm,
people literally sat at home and realized all that they had just by
mhm,
being inside and realizing this was all they were doing.
yeah,
This is all they knew. And they were like, I had no idea. And I think people really sat back and just said, oh my gosh,
mhm,
where am I going to be in the next 5 years from now? And all these
yeah,
things happening, people losing jobs and all that. But it affects us on so many different levels. It's
mhm,
unbelievable sometimes. It's almost surreal. You like wake up every day thinking, did this really happen 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
yeah,
And now we're up on 20, 9/11, what, tomorrow, 20 years
yeah,
since the 9/11 attack and how that affected America. I,
yep,
every time we have one of these huge major events like this,
mhm,
um, it definitely makes you stop and think, am I really heading in the right direction with whatever it is I'm going on in my life or
right,
whatever?
right,
So I'm hoping with this podcast that, people like yourself can share your perspective and really hear, what people are going through so that you can get more information and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds
mhm,
like that the event industry, although it's like hit or miss, it's like you shut your doors, but then as soon as the money comes, I'm back.
right,
It's one of
right,
those industries that you literally can shut your doors and like come back tomorrow
yep,
or something like that. But
you
I,
really
I
can.
think it's one of those industries that I think that would really never go away because people always want to party.
Mhm,
They're always going to want to have some sort of nice event, whether it's wedding or prom or what have you. I think this is an industry that will continue to grow.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
what do you want to leave people with?
Just honestly, it sounds weird, but just cherish your loved ones. Cherish your loved ones. Please, please tell people how you feel, and love on them. Love on them. I love what I do, not just because, of the profitability, but just because I get to see people love on people. I'm not doing all of this just because it's nice, it's a lot of money I'm putting in to show you that I love you. I'm excited about your new baby. I'm glad to be a part of your new start of your life. So while you're doing this, while you're making the celebration, while you're planning, be sure to also vocalize how you feel because you just never know.
Excellent. Well, you know what? I appreciate that and everything, what's going on, and being on here on the Real Talk, Real Business, Real Talk.
Mhm.
Because, we got to say it, we got to put it out there. And
Mhm.
the information is one of those things that if you don't know, you really just don't know.
Right.
And so we're letting you know.
That's it.
We're
That's
letting you
it.
know. So thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're
And
very welcome.
I
Thank you for
want to
having me.
encourage you. Yeah, and I want to encourage you that if you're watching this video to please like, subscribe, and share and tell your friends about it. And if you want to be on the Real Business, Real Talk with Ann, because you have something that you really want to tell somebody about, let me know. We have to put it out there. So
That's it.
contact
That's
me.
it.
That's right, at www.austintech-smallbusiness.com.